The biggest risk in retirement for the executives I work with isn't running out of money. That problem's usually solved. The biggest risk is running out of purpose. Research shows that high-achieving executives who retire without a structured identity plan are significantly more likely to experience depression, return to work within 2 years at a lower level, or make reactive financial decisions that undermine the retirement they spent 30 years building. Nobody in the financial planning industry talks about this. The plans we hand clients cover the money in extraordinary detail. They almost never cover what happens on the Monday after. I'm Klemm, founder of Inflection Point Wealth Management. This is the part of retirement nobody prepares you for, and the part that matters the most. The problem in this story is the financial planning industry, including to some degree, me. We are very good at the numbers: withdrawal rates, Roth conversions, tax projections, sequence of returns risk. We build plans that account for inflation through age 95 and a model a 2008 style crash in year 3 of retirement. And then we hand somebody a binder and say, you're ready. But the question we don't ask, the one that determines whether the retirement is actually good, is what are you going to do on Tuesday? That isn't a frivolous question. It may be the most important one. And most financial plans don't have an answer. For 25 or 30 years, you've had an answer to the question, what do you do? You're the senior vice president, the CFO, the person who runs this division. That title isn't just a job description. It's how you think about yourself. It's the things that organizes your days, your relationships, your sense of where you fit. And then one day, it's gone. One Friday, you're in meetings, making decisions, leading a team. The next Monday, nothing. Nobody emails you. Nobody needs your approval. The calendar that used to be wall-to-wall is completely blank. If you haven't been through this, you might think I'm being dramatic. But I've seen it happen to people who are generally excited to retire. People who counted down the days, and within 3 months, something shifts. The novelty wears off. The golf gets old. The travel feels like it's filling time instead of enriching it. And a restlessness sets in that they weren't expecting. Your identity was built on contribution, achievement, being needed, and nobody prepared you for what happens when that structure disappears. Here's the counterintuitive part. The more successful you were, the harder this transition tends to be. If you spent 30 years building something, a team, a department, a business line, you became someone who operates at a really high level. Real pace, real challenge. The 6 a.m. calls and the weekend emails were exhausting, but they gave your day structure and meaning. And the people most likely to struggle are the ones who define themselves most strongly through their work, which, in my experience, is most of the executives I work with. Here's the real cost. Many executives delay retirement specifically because they sense this is coming. They keep saying, 1 more year. Not because they need the money, that problem was solved years ago, but because they don't know what comes next. The work is hard, but it's clear. Retirement is open-ended, and that terrifies people who have spent careers in structured environments. Every year of 1 more year is a year of retirement you built and delayed. And the discomfort you were trying to avoid follows you there anyways. Here's what I've seen in reality. Not the stock photo on a beach version. Phase 1 is the honeymoon. A few weeks to a few months. You sleep in, you travel, you do everything you said you do when you had the time. And it feels great because it's contrast to what you just left. Phase 2 is the dip. This is the one nobody warns you about. The novelty fades. You check LinkedIn more than you want to admit, and you notice that your social circle, the one you thought was so strong, was largely built around work. Without the shared context of the office, those relationships thin faster than you expected. This is when people second-guess the decision. Maybe I left too early. Maybe I should consult, or join a board, or go back part-time. And some of those are real options, but most of the time, it's the discomfort of the transition talking. Phase 3 is the recalibration. Not everyone gets here at the same time. This is where you find what actually gives you energy, not what you think should, not what your spouse wants you to pursue, what actually makes you feel useful and engaged. For some, it's mentoring. For some, it's completely different pursuit they never had time for. For some, it's a slower version of what they used to do on their terms. The people who get to phase 3 in good shape are the ones who thought about this before they got there. not after the dip. If you're 5 years out or 2 years out, or you just left last month, the financial plan isn't the whole plan. What are you moving towards? What do you want to be in the 20 or 25 years after you stop working? What structure replaces the structure that's disappearing? If your financial plan doesn't have an answer for Tuesday, it may be missing the most important part. If you are within 5 years of retirement or already in the transition and you haven't thought seriously about the identity side of this, that planning is still available to you. But the executives who navigate this well are the ones who did it before the dip arrived, not during it. This channel is built for high-earning professionals and executives delivering content on navigating complex financial decisions, equity compensation, tax strategy, retirement planning, and concentrated wealth. If these topics are valuable to you, be sure to subscribe so that you get more free content. Thanks for joining. See you next time.